So, just to start, I picked as I call it, an Arctic Circle Super Bowl, and soon was reminded that neither of these cities is actually in the Arctic Circle. No crap, Sherlock. Yes, I understand that. So, I picked Buffalo to beat Green Bay. And I picked Buffalo because, in my opinion, they are the deepest team in pro football with the most dangerous quarterback in pro football. No team is flawless, but this team addressed a flaw in the offseason by signing Von Miller for too much money. But when you see that you've got to stretch to a certain degree to get this player, and you've got to guarantee 3 full years on his contract, which, when you're 33 years old, I think that's what he is, that's a big stretch. And they've also got to find a way to keep Von Miller healthy for the year. As general manager Brandon Beane said, we got Von Miller to close games. So they need to make absolutely sure that even though he's going to be healthy as a mule early, they don't overuse him early and get him hurt so he's not going to be there when the games really count. As far as Green Bay goes, I wrote in my column that pretty ironic that they would have to go on the road, which I think they may have to do to get to a Super Bowl. And they haven't been to a Super Bowl in 12 years. But I think that this is the year. I just think Aaron Rodgers, there's very few people who are as motivated by outside noise as Aaron Rodgers is. He understands what everybody is saying. You can't win without Devontae Adams, or you can't win to the level that you have. And I also think it's a big help, obviously, getting Rich Bisaccia in there to coach special teams, to really put an emphasis on special teams for the first time in years in Green Bay. So that's my Super Bowl pick. So let's go over each conference, and I'll give you a little reason why I did what I did in my column in Football Morning in America this week. Let's start with the AFC. Pick Buffalo number 1. I think they're far and away the best team in their division. Will win it running away. Baltimore, I picked for the 2nd seed. And they're going to need a win in Week 18 over Cincinnati at Cincinnati, I think, to get here. I think they overlook and get past all the Lamar Jackson noise. As we sit here, I'm recording this on Tuesday before the start of the season. I don't believe that Lamar Jackson is going to have a new contract by opening day. I just don't think that's a huge deal and is really going to have a big impact on how he plays or how the Ravens play. I like them over Cincinnati for a very simple reason. This was the team that was most beat up in the NFL last year. Left tackle, quarterback, both corners, top 2 running backs, all gone for the stretch run of the season, and some of them for the entire season. So I think now, that you've got most of your guys back. I think they're finally going to show that they're a pretty damn good team. I think the Chargers edge out the Chiefs in the AFC West. Could go either way. Any one of the 4 teams in that division could win that division. You don't say that very often, but I can say that with confidence in this case. I like the Chargers. And to me, I think they're, if they go, whoever goes 4-2 in this division, I think is going to have a real good chance to win it. Tennessee edges out the Colts in the AFC South. You'd be surprised at this, but I am a little bit concerned about the Indianapolis defense. I don't know that there's enough playmakers on that defense, even though they got Yannick Ngakoue, even though it looks like they're going to have Shaquille Leonard at the start of this season. We'll see. I might be eating my words late in the year. Wild card teams, 5 Kansas City, 6 Cincinnati, 7 Miami. I just think, hey, look, when I visited Kansas City's camp, and I've talked about it on this podcast, I think that the reborn player of the year, a guy who's going to be in contention for comeback player of the year, is Juju Smith-Schuster. He's so happy. They're moving him all over the map. I think that's going to be a really good player to watch this year in the AFC West. Finally, in the AFC, I like Buffalo to beat the Chargers for the AFC Championship. And as I said, I think portable tables of Western New York, beware. Let's go to the NFC. Probably my biggest surprise pick was picking New Orleans to be the number 1 seed. Look, you know, one of my favorite stats right now in the NFL is that since Tom Brady got to Tampa, he has played New Orleans 4 times in the regular season. He's lost all 4, and none of the 4 games has been a 1-score game. So that says a lot to me. You know, even though the Bucs in a turnover-filled game for New Orleans did beat the Saints in a playoff game on the way to the Super Bowl, which is huge and is meaningful, those other 4 games, I think they say something. And to me, I just like New Orleans, especially with some of the issues on the offensive line that Tampa Bay has entering the season. I like Green Bay number 2. I think Green Bay is going to be as good as ever. I have them winning 12 games. That's helped, of course, by 4 games against the Bears and Lions, even though I think the Lions are going to be significantly improved. I just like what I see out of Green Bay. I liked what I saw in training camp. I think their young receivers will come through. Philadelphia wins the NFC East and beats out Dallas. I don't know many teams that are going to have the skill players at the receiving end of footballs than the Philadelphia Eagles, because you look at, you know, their Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert. That is some dangerous weaponry for Jalen Hurts, who I think is going to be good. The Rams, number 4. Listen, I just think there are too many things when you try to repeat, and you add in this year 10 games against playoff teams from 2022. 10 of your 17 games are against legit contenders. This is a tough schedule for the Rams. I got my wild card teams: number 5, Minnesota, 5th seed Minnesota, 6, Tampa, 7, San Francisco. I think it's going to be a really interesting time in the NFC come January, because I don't think that there is one really premier team in the NFC. I think on paper I like the Rams the most, but I just think that they have so many games on this schedule that you look at and say, oh my gosh, how are you going to survive all that? Finally, let's just do my MVP. I've got Josh Allen winning, Justin Herbert 2nd, Lamar Jackson 3rd. I just think at this point in his life, in his career, what I saw from Josh Allen last year in the playoffs, in the games that mattered the most, there's just one word: wow. And to me, I think he's going to carry that over into this season. My offensive player, I think Jonathan Taylor is going to win his 2nd straight rushing title this year, and I like Jonathan Taylor to win that. Defensive player, yes, Aaron Donald will become the first player in NFL history to win 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. And his biggest contender, I got Odafe Oweh, the edge rusher from Baltimore, who I think with new defensive coordinator Mike McDonald in Baltimore is going to be a real dangerous weapon this year. My offensive rookie, Chris Olave. Defensive rookie, Sauce Gardner. My coach, John Harbaugh. My comeback player, Christian McCaffrey, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jameis Winston. One of those 3 guys I think is going to be standing at the end. So that is the season preview pod. I'd love to hear your reactions. Please write to me either at Peter_King on Twitter or on my at my Gmail account for my Football Morning in America at Peter King, FMIA at Gmail, or leave a review for me on this podcast and tell me exactly what a lunatic I am. That's it for this week's podcast. We'll be back to review week 1 next week. And the season is upon us. Have a great year. Have a fun year. And enjoy the games this weekend. Next week, another edition of the Peter King Podcast.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.